everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, but there's a big but. Today's video is not a normal video. I am actually making this specifically for one person. So if you still want to watch it, you are definitely more than welcome to. Just know that this is a specialized video. I actually just did my mom's friend's makeup over the weekend, and I wanted to use the same products and everything in this video just for her so that she can see what I used, how I used it, why I used it, all of that stuff. So what that tells you is that if I ever do your makeup, you can expect a personal video from me showing you what I did, all that stuff. So if you still want to watch, be my guest. If not, I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, Mary June, is prime the lids. So I used on you from Ruby Kisses, this is their makeup primer. Now if you don't want to get like an actual eyeshadow primer, that's not a problem. You can also just use concealer. It's just gonna be a little bit thicker, maybe a little bit heavier, but this is only $5 or something, so it's a really good option. And right after we put that on, we're gonna set it with a powder. I showed you two really good drugstore options for loose powder. We have the Maybelline Fit Me and the Coty Airspun, which you already know. So I'm gonna use this and just kind of pop this on my eyes. And this is really important because you want to make sure that whatever you're putting on top of this is gonna last all day. So your eyeshadow is not gonna start moving or getting crazy. And I just blend it out with my finger, and I'm going to set it pretty quickly with the loose powder. You don't need a ton, and again, this is just going to make sure that everything goes on nice and smooth. Then what I did was grab a big fluffy brush. I used this guy. Any giant fluffy brush will do. You can also, because the second brush I used was basically the same, just a ton smaller, you can just use the same one brush for both of these. If you're going to use the smaller one, you'll just have to work in bigger motion. So it's easier to have two, but there's no problem just having the one. And then I used some shades from the Laura Lee palette. Now, all you need to get is a light brown and a darker brown. So you don't need this palette. You can use any drugstore shade. I know that Milani has like some really good stuff, so just find one with a light brown and a dark brown, and I'm going to use the light brown right here. Make sure that you're getting warm toned stuff, that's what's going to work on your skin, and just go right on in with that fluffy brush and focus this kind of out on the outer edge and right above your crease. And you're just going to kind of build this up until you're happy with how dark it is. Now this can be super quick, and you can just put this on and run out. You can, you can really build it up however much you want. So there's really no like right or wrong. There's no right or wrong answer here. Do what you want, right? But just make sure that it's as dark as you please. And this does not have to be super clean. It doesn't matter how high it goes or how much of your eyelid is taking up the color. You just want to throw it on. I was super duper messy when I did your makeup because this is just supposed to be a nice light wash, so it doesn't need to be too crazy. Okay, just like that. So now I'm going to go with that smaller brush, and I'm going to go into the color next to it, this darker one right here. It's just a bit more of a darker brown. I'm just going to kind of focus that on the outer edge here, and don't take it above your crease. You're going to want to keep it low. And again, it can go as far in as you want or as far out, depending on how long you want your eyeshadow look to be. But for when I did your makeup, I kept it right in the eye shape. And then I'm just going to go back into that first brush, kind of fluff everything together so that it's nice and blended looking. And again, just build this up until you're happy. Okay, so now that eyeshadow is on, we're going to take a makeup wipe and just kind of clean up any fallout that happened, which is why I like to do eyeshadow first. And just kind of really clean up the outer edge here so it's nice and sharp. And depending on how messy you are when you do your eyeshadow will depend on if you even need to clean up. And then we went into face primer. So for you, I used the Catrice Prime and Fine. This one's really good for just canceling out the pores, making your skin look nice and smooth and flawless. So that way makeup is sitting on top of it and not sitting in it. And it is kind of like a putty. So I do recommend putting this on with some type of a brush. You can use the beauty sponge that I gave you as well. Just you might have to like wash it after you put it in here, and then you're gonna wash it and then put on foundation, because I found that when I used my beauty sponge to put this on the face and then I went in with foundation with the same sponge, it just didn't work quite as well. Something about how, you know, you put foundation. Anyways, just use a brush. Don't use your fingers though with this. I don't recommend using your fingers with this because it doesn't sit in the skin the way that it's supposed to. Like, the brush will really push it on in and make sure that it's like canceling everything out and really filling them in, whereas your fingers are just going to kind of spread it on top. So definitely use a brush or the sponge is perfectly fine. And you'll see that it also has a little bit of like an illumination to it because it is that bright color. It's not going to look bad whatsoever. It's actually just going to make your skin look nice and bright. So don't be afraid of that. And I'm just going to focus this all on the T-zone and also cover my whole nose right here and down here. So I don't put this everywhere. Just kind of focus it in that T-zone. So once that's on, I'm going to go in with my under eye cream. Okay, so while I'm rubbing this in, I will mention you have the L'Oreal Pro Glow. It looked really, really good on you, but we talked about two other ones that you might want to look into. So the first one is the L'Oreal Pro Matte. That one is not cardboard matte, so it's still going to be comfortable. The other one that we talked about was a cushion foundation. So my favorite right now is the Maybelline Dream Cushion. It's just so easy. It's a liquid foundation inside a cushion form, so you can really take it on the go with you. You can use like the little sponge that it comes with to apply this. There's nothing wrong with that. This one's actually quite nice. I just still always prefer, if I can, to use a beauty sponge. Or in order to get it ready to use, you're going to hold it under running water and like squeeze the crap out of it while it's soaking up the water. Do that like 20 times so that it's nice and big, and then pat the whole thing down with a towel so that you remove all that excess moisture, and what you're left with is this really nice giant sponge that's just going to have foundation application so much nicer, so much better looking. It's going to really sink it into the skin. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Dream Cushion because you have not seen that one before. And what I love about this one is, this is what it looks like, by the way. I'm just going to take it and just kind of do a couple of pounces and then just start going into the skin. But yeah, what I love about this is it has a really nice finish to it, where it is not matte, but it's not satin. It's not dewy, but it's also not matte. So it's like that really good in between kind of natural finish, but it looks really healthy. And it evens everything out, and it's not such full coverage that you feel like you're definitely wearing a mask or like you're wearing just too much foundation. It's a really comfortable wear, so that's why I love this one so much. And you can see like it's basically already on. It's just so easy to use, and that's why I love using a sponge with it. So I'm just going to put this all over. Of course, make sure you're going into the hairlines, on the ears, down the neck, all that jazz. See how it evened everything out, gave me a nice, good, even over complexion, but it doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. It doesn't feel like that either. It's not matte, it's not dewy, it's that just perfect natural finish. So this stuff, absolutely amazing. I highly recommend that you look into it. Then we went in with concealer. So your concealer was definitely like the same color as you, and I only have ones that are lighter, so I'm going to use just a concealer. But what you're going to do is focus it really in this intersection here and then blend it out. I want to quickly mention too that you might want to look into a color correcting concealer before you even put on foundation, because that way you put on the color corrector, then you put on foundation, and then by the time that you go in with concealer, the color corrector will have corrected a ton of stuff, and it's not going to make it look any heavier. And then when you put on the concealer, it's going to really help to cancel everything out. So I would definitely recommend looking into one of those first. So you're going to put that on if you do before foundation. And then for you, we just really focused this right in here. And then I'm going to go into the loose powder. And I want to set the whole face with this, but I really like setting the under eye area with the sponge. So I'm just going to dip it right in here. I just find that when you set your under eyes with a damp sponge like this, it just helps it to look really, really good, really more natural, and it sets it just better in my opinion. So I'm going to set it like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go in and set the rest of my face. And I like to use just a big old fluffy brush and just pounce that in everywhere. Okay, and then I went in with just a dual fiber brush and just kind of made sure that everything was nice and blended together. Right now what we're going to do is blush. For you, we use the Milani blush in Romantic Rose. Hello. And it's just a really nice kind of mauvey, browny, pink, neutral. There's no shimmer in here. There's no shine. It's a nice, beautiful matte. I'm going to take a brush like this. This is just kind of angled. Again, we talked about that so that it really cups that whole area. And I'm just going to go in with a little bit right on the cheeks. Okay, then for that really pretty highlight up here, I did use the Master Chrome. This is from Maybelline. This is in the 100 Molten Gold, and it looked stunning. So we're going to use that. I use a brush like this. It is long, it's fluffy, it's tapered, and I'm just going to kind of get a little bit on here, and I focused this really high on you. So that way it was just like that barely there sparkle. There we go, I kept it just right there. I took the brush again and then just kind of fluffed all of that together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up brows, mascara, and then I'll be back. Alright, Mary June, so that is the look fully done. I wanted to say one more thing. I did use this Mario Badescu facial setting spray on you. This I think is really, really good because it not only sets your makeup so that it lasts all day, but it also melts all those powders together so they don't look powdery, so that they look nice and married and just one and not like a bunch of different layers that you're using. So for that reason, I love, love, love this. You can get this at Ulta, you can get online. I have the cucumber and green tea scent. There are a couple more, I think. So anyways, really good choice. Now, of course, if you would like, you can definitely put on some lashes. I would recommend that you do individual lashes because they're a little bit easier rather than having to deal with that whole strip and everything coming off. Just maybe focus it on the outer edges here so that your lashes are a little bit fuller. So yeah, that's going to be the end of your makeup tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, definitely let me know. And if anybody else watched this, thanks for watching. I normally post, regular videos here, but if I were to do one person's makeup, I will definitely just do a video for them using what I used, talking about why I used it, how I used it, all of that stuff, so that it's more personal. And that way they have a video to reference rather than me saying, watch this, watch that. This is a personalized video. So Mary June, this one is for you. And again, if you have watched this, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And for anyone who did, I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.